Farmers market happening every Tuesday at the Lost Kitchen. Today marked its second week and it's already quite popular. After all, there's no better place to spend Independence Day than in Freedom. Brittany McCatton takes us there.
We're super excited to be in Freedom. It's a beautiful day. What could be better?
For nearly a decade, visitors from around the world have come to Freedom to eat at the Lost Kitchen.
Big fans of the Lost Kitchen.
Yes.
Now its owner, Aaron French, is giving them another reason to visit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The community response, both locally down the street and all across the country and perhaps farther, is amazing. And what it means to us is gratitude, respect. It's humbling on a lot of levels, the way people have actually responded to her story.
French started an online farmers market during COVID, which planted the seed for something bigger. The idea took root, and the Freedom Farmers Market at the Lost Kitchen officially opened at the end of June.
Been a long fan of Erin's since she was in Belfast. My parents live in Searsport, and we really wanted to come.
The first week was amazing. The vibe was really great. The people seemed really excited to be here. There was a lot of foot traffic, so I think it was a huge success, and today is proving to be just as wonderful as last week.
From fresh cut flowers to cheese, vegetables to meat, market manager Johanna Burdett says she's proud there's something for everyone here.
I really like those flowers over there.
French is known for using local ingredients in her recipes, sourced from many of the same vendors at the market.
At the core for her is this idea of giving back to the community, pulling all of her friends into the restaurant, her vendors that she's become friends with, and just making something that kind of works in this holistic way, if you know what I mean. So it means a lot. It means a lot on a lot of different levels.
The Freedom Farmers Market at the Lost Kitchen is open every Tuesday from 12 to 4 from now through August. But this Tuesday made for a very
Happy 4th of July.
Brittany McCatton, WABI TV5 News, Freedom.